I remember going through training. They said, you really have to want this, and that's so true. The guys who showed up to try and become a SEAL because they saw a movie or thought it'd be cool to pick up girls lasted about 3 hours. Okay, and the guys who were at graduation 7 months later, probably about 20 pounds lighter and really pissed off, really wanted it, and that was it. I remember maybe 2 years going into before I started training, I was thinking about it every single day. And I went through and broke my leg in Hell Week the first time. Started day one over again. Went through, broke my leg a second time. Had to go back to day one. Third time, cracked my skull, got run over by a boat, and I'm in intensive care in the hospital. And one of the senior instructors comes in and he's like, hey, what are we gonna do with you? I said, well, you might as well kill me because there's no way I'm not going to make it to graduation.
We don't have much time, but you can't survive this. Follow me.
Terror has many faces. It can fall from the sky or come up from the ground. It can be caused by Mother Nature or ruthless zealots. Its intent is to kill, and it won't make an appointment. If you have the proper skills, you will live. I'm Cade Courtley, and I'm about to save your life. As a Navy SEAL, I've spent half my life in some of the most hostile places on the planet. I've stared terror in the eye and lived to tell about it. Each week, we'll simulate a different catastrophic event. I should warn you, the images are going to be very graphic, but believe me, it's all being staged for your own good. Hopefully, you'll never have to experience any of these disasters, but if you do, you'll be prepared. Will you be a survivor or a statistic? Choice is yours.
This is Can You Survive This Podcast. This show is designed to teach you techniques that will increase your chances of survival if you happen to find yourself or your family in any life-threatening disaster scenario imaginable. Each episode will put you smack in the middle of a new disaster scenario as I challenge my guests to see if they have what it takes to get out alive. Knowledge is power, people. Can you survive this podcast? I heard from some guys, and I've been dying to ask you this question. Some guys say that they were pretty convinced this was a suicide mission. We don't think we're coming back. Talk to me about that. You're inbound.
We talked about it before when we're standing around the planning table, and we'd start screwing around. I remember saying to my guys, "Look, man, we got to take this serious. This is a one-way mission. Like we're gonna die."
I had this conversation recently with somebody, and they're like, what's the most nervous you've ever been? And it wasn't jumping out of a plane into a combat zone, and it wasn't diving under a ship into...
You jumped out of perfectly good planes before?
I did, and some of those planes I couldn't wait to get out of. They were leaking like a sieve. Hydraulic fluid was there everywhere. The most dangerous thing was not slipping and falling, trying to get out of it. So, but honestly, the most nervous I've ever been in my life was realizing it's just you, him, no equipment, no team, no backup.
The purity of it.
As pure as it gets.
Cade Courtley served as a Navy SEAL and is president and founder of SEAL Survival. Cade, how are you? Good afternoon.
I'm doing great, Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. What do you make of these satellite images first?
I wish I had more information. We all hope and we think that this is the best sort of lead we have so far. Well, it's tough. You put yourself in their position. Okay, I've got a loved one. What do I do? Do I give up hope or do I hang on to it? And at the end of the day, all of those basically huge obstacles I just discussed, let's remember in January, a gentleman washed ashore in the Marshall Islands after being at sea for 13 months, traveled over 5,000 miles, and he survived on drinking turtle blood and his own urine, which I would never recommend.
Cade, thanks for being with us. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances.
It really is, Anderson. It's good to be with you. Think about a situation where from the point where this bridge collapsed, you're 185 feet above the water. So if you survive the impact into the water, you have tons and tons of debris coming down on top of you If you made it through that, now you find yourself completely stressed out, potentially injured, maybe in shock in 47-degree water.
Cade Courtley, thanks so much.
Hey, real quick, I lost a couple of good buddies and teammates in Benghazi, and I want to thank Fox News for keeping that on the radar.
So you're one of the people that wants us to keep this investigation alive.
Absolutely. I know what those guys did. I did that job, and those guys, they've earned the total truth.
Cade Courtley joins us now. Cade, you're off the grid. Tell me about what you were experiencing in California.
Well, Lawrence, it's a pleasure to be on. Look, when there's an organization in that business where you have to have secret meetings because you're a conservative, that's kind of screwed up, right? We're an award-winning coffee company that delivers coffee to your door every month. But more than that, Lawrence, we believe in liberty, freedom, and the Constitution of the United States. I mean, we are unapologetically patriotic. And if that, if what our core values are as a company is disruptive or bothers you, we don't want your business. Go buy a $5 cup of crap from the boys from Seattle.
You gotta love it. It sounds like my type of company, and I love coffee. And if you love it, for more information, you can go to victorycoffees.com.
So I knew probably from the time I was 7 years old that I wanted to be in the military. And probably because my grandfather was a veteran. He was a flight instructor in the Army Air Corps, is what the Air Force was called at the time. And it was not only my grandfather and his influence and the kind of man he was, but it was my deep desire to serve this amazing country. I was commissioned into the Navy in May of 1992, and I served for 9 years active duty in the SEAL teams. I got everything I wanted out of that job. I mean, it was the best job in the world. I got out in March of 2001. Fast forward several months, 9/11, Twin Towers come down. So I basically said, I want back in the game. And so that led to about 7 years of being what was referred to as a security or independent contractor, working for a 3-letter agency. During my active duty, I'd made a decision that it would be irresponsible for me to have a wife and children, because there's a really good chance that I'm not gonna come home. And that was a personal choice I made. And in a way that made things easier for me because I could just completely focus on the job and my guys. I was surrounded by elite people doing an incredibly challenging but awesome job with people that you trust with your life. The bond was so incredibly tight. The nastier and uglier things got, just the tighter that bond became. It's like, hey, all we have is each other. And I miss that. It's just such an amazing place to be with people when you're just totally dependent but totally trusting. And I did not realize how amazing that was until I got out and realized that's not the way things work in the real world. You know, people talk about having issues with transition out of the military. You know, I sleep like a baby at night, and I'm very proud of everything I did when I served. But the hardest part for me was, wow, where's my family? Now what's my mission? You know, and just the challenges and everything that came along with that special group of people. That was my family.